funding, and relentless advocacy, we're proud to announce that the Project Clean Slate team has helped Detroiters expunge over 15,000 convictions. Behind that number are neighbors, friends, and family members who can apply for jobs without fear, sign leases with dignity, and walk into new opportunities with their heads held high. It represents a parent finally able to attend a field trip with their child, a student eligible for scholarships, and a worker qualified for a promotion. These aren't statistics. These are lives forever changed. To our supporters and volunteers, many of whom are here today, you believed in systemic change and in the power of community-driven solutions. Thank you. To our funders, you didn't just write checks, you invested. You invested in hope, in potential, and in the future of Detroit. You helped turn barriers into bridges. Thank you. And to the PCS team, you rolled up your sleeves, dug into the work, and you show up day after day for the people of this city. Please stand or raise your hands and be acknowledged. Everybody is wearing what I'm wearing, so if you see somebody in this shirt, they're part of our wonderful team, and thank you guys. So thank you all for being here today and for walking this path with us. Thank you for believing in Detroit, and thank you for helping thousands of Detroiters turn the page to a better future. I would now like to welcome Deputy Mayor Malia Howard.
Great afternoon, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here. My first introduction to Project Clean Slate was in this exact building. It was in 2019, and we hosted an expungement fair here. And I have to tell you, never in my life had I seen hundreds of people lined up around this building for the opportunity to just speak with someone about making that life-changing initiative, right? You took a step out on faith. It had to be, I swear, 1,000 people wrapped around this building. And they all took an opportunity to say, I want to change my life. I really want to make this difference. I really want to be able to get this new job. I really want to be able to participate fully in this space. And I congratulated and greeted every last one of those people as they entered into this building. And that was transformational for me, because you just don't know how many people really and truly do need this assistance. And so in 2018, when Mayor Duggan launched this program, you know, it started out with just a handful of people, right? As this team ramped up, I remember when they were a team of like 3. And to see so many people now involved in this is heartwarming, right? Because 15,000 people now have a new opportunity in this city and a new opportunity in their lives. And so I just want to thank you, Ms. LaBelle, for all of your hard work and effort. Your leadership in this space has allowed us to continue and grow. And then your partnership, clearly with Chief Beddison and Corp Counsel Mallett, have also made this possible for you to grow and expand this program for our residents. And so as more of you come to learn about Project Clean Slate, please share this information out into the community, because there's more than 15,000 people who need this help. And so we really do need to make this impact. So if you see something, say something. That's just me. I really want you all to spread this word so that our residents have this continued opportunity. And as our city grows and more jobs come online, we need to continue to have more people who are qualified and skilled and have their convictions expunged off of their records. And so they can participate fully in the workforce. And so with that, I would love to bring up our chief of police. And we just made a funny note, just so you all know. You literally have 3 deputy mayors in succession sitting up here on the left-hand side. So I love it. It was the funniest thing. We just realized it. So, but thank you. And Chief, I'd like to turn this over to you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Howard. Definitely, she is amazing. This is really special. I was here 2 years ago I believe it was 2 years ago, standing in the same spot, same room. Mayor Duggan was here, and we were celebrating the 10,000 expungement in the city of Detroit. So, wow. I guess time flies when you're having fun. So let's give it up. 1 year ago, we were celebrating the 10,000. 1 year later today, we're celebrating 15,000 expungements in the city of Detroit. And I know personally to Ms. LaBelle, I call her all the time, and I refer Detroiters to her. And I've even referred some folks who are not in Detroit to her because we have something special in the city of Detroit. We have a city where we wrap our arms around our residents, and regardless of whether it's police, city council, whether it's the mayor's office, city workers, we truly believe that Detroiters deserve a second chance and that you don't have to have that burden around your neck, because when you paid your debt to society, you deserve a fresh start. So let's give it up to the team one more time for that. And we can't do it alone. And very shortly, I'm going to bring up Corp Counsel Conrad Mallett, who is the fearless leader of our law department, who ensures that under his leadership that the Project Clean Slate team continues to have the resources that they need to get it done. But I won't be long, but I'll just say that this work right here has made the city of Detroit a better place. Because when I see young folks or Detroiters and people who are saying, after you say, get your life together, and they're saying, I'm trying, but I can't even get through the door to get a job. And then when you see the pain in their eyes, when you got young men, or whether it's a mother, saying, you know what, I can't even take my kid on a field trip. Or when they're embarrassed because they try to go just across the bridge to Canada with their family, and they find out that because they have a felony conviction, they can't live like we do or have the freedom. So now it's 15,000 people in the city of Detroit that now have freedom, equality, and can actually reach their full potential and opportunity. And we know that on average, their earning power now is 33% higher. So I just want to once again say thank you to everybody involved with Project Clean Slate. I see Judge Patricia Fassard in the back. I want to thank her as well, because it's a whole team effort. It is government, and I'm talking about the courts, the judges, because they have to work tremendously hard as well, and just everybody who spreads the word. This is truly amazing, and with that, I'm going to bring up our corporation counsel and former deputy mayor, my friend Conrad Mallett.
Thank you, Chief. So, first of all, let me hurry and recognize Chief Judge Patricia Fassard again. I don't want the Chief Judge of Wayne County to think that the law department would come into a place and not make sure that we knew she was here. Mark Bernstein is here as well. Raise your hand. Now, I asked Mark to raise his hand not because of all of the billboards that you all see all over town, which actually gives me a whole lot of heartburn. But Mark used to be a law clerk of mine when I was at the Supreme Court. So he is a really good lawyer, unfortunately. He's been very well taught, but he does make my day longer. To all of the men and women who have gone through this program, the families here know what I know, that this is not an easy process. You do not just show up and say, hi, my name is John Jones, Sally Smith, and I want my record expunged. You've got to gather records. You've got to go through all kind of histrionics in order to put yourself in a position to go through the process. And even then, and this is the reason that Judge Fassard's presence is so important, and even then, it has to go before a judge. It's not automatic. This is something where a judge actually considers the case in front of him or her, and a decision is made, and it is not always positive. Sometimes the judges say, go back and do this again. And so I want to say to all of the families and to all of the participants in this program, thank you for your dedication to your self-improvement. When you say the number 15,000, you can also multiply at least by 3. There are at least 3 people positively affected, as the chief indicated and the deputy mayor indicated, by the opportunity taken. And so when the family member gets their record expunged and a new job is attained, the entire family is lifted up. Were it me, and the mayor is the policy initiator in this town, but were it me, I would focus extra time and extra attention on the people who have gone through the Project Clean Slate process. And the reason is because they've already demonstrated their dedication to self-improvement. They've already shown that they are ready to seize any opportunity that is given them. And so I really want all of the people here to be proud of the work that you've done to overcome the circumstance you found yourselves, and for the families to celebrate, along with your loved ones, this very, very real change in circumstance. Thank you all very much.
Now I would like to welcome the presiding judge of the Wayne County Circuit Court, Judge Donald Knapp.
Good morning, Deputy Mayor Howard, Chief Edison, Chief Judge Fassard, Court Counsel Mallett, Mr. Walker, and distinguished guests. Thank you, Project Clean Slate Executive Director Stephanie LaBelle, for inviting me to participate in this celebration. It's certainly a joyous and momentous occasion. The one thing I learned as an attorney and a judge is that nobody likes going to court. The defendants charged with the crime don't want to be there. The victims of the crime and the families do not want to relive the pain that brought them there. Jurors don't want to spend time there. And as such, court's not always a happy place. However, there is a bright spot. It is the expungement that gives someone a second chance to show that they have served penance, paid the price, and changed their life. As a judge, I often hear people explain that age 40, 45, 50, they're no longer the same person they were at 19 making bad decisions. They now have families, businesses, and they've had to do things to survive. Start their own business, struggle. Others tell about employers that turn them down for jobs and the opportunities that pass them by because of their criminal record. Because of their criminal record, their life was more difficult. We also learn of the work that they did that was very positive, whether it's in their church or the larger community. While each story is different, we learn from them the importance of change and redemption. It is also important to recognize that the expungement not only improves the life of that person, but everyone in their family. Because of a barrier, being employed in a good job, earning a degree, or getting a loan has been lifted, they and their spouses and their families are now allowed to thrive. Congratulations to the Project Clean Slate team. Thank you for making court a little happier place. And there are not many organizations that can say that they changed the lives of 15,000 people and their families. Congratulations.
Now I'd like you to hear from a couple Project Clean Slate clients. This is always the best part of the show. No offense to our very dignified speakers. So first, we'd like you to hear from Mr. Richard Walker.
Good morning, good morning. They got me here. The last time when I came, I walked out the door with my wife, and she said, "Don't you have a meeting this morning?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "So how come you're not dressed?" I said, "I'm not going to that expungement thing." I walked about 3 steps, and something said, "Turn around." I went and got dressed, ended up coming to the last expungement, and a gentleman who was a judge, Judge Kenny, sat next to me and bumped me and said, "Excuse me, you are?" And I leaned back and I couldn't speak. I said, "I'm Richard Walker, Mr. Kenny, the guy you sent to prison for the rest of his life." Long story. So I ended up, while I was in prison, I had a corrupt attorney and I had I hate to say it, a dirty prosecutor. But Mr. Kenny wasn't the prosecutor. They ended up turning the case over to him. I ended up getting my attorney disbarred. The prosecutor got in trouble. 5 attorneys took my case for free, and I came home. I was granted a new trial, but I had to look at this. Do I take the chance of maybe getting a life sentence again, even though there was no evidence or nothing against me? Or do I take a plea and go home today with my family? So I took a plea, went home with my family, but still have a conviction hanging over my head until I learned about this program. So I was working with a company. I had guys that come through the program. I was a heavy equipment instructor. I didn't know the whole class was from prison. I had a guy beating on the desk, and I called him up, "What's wrong with you?" He said, "Man, you don't know what it's like." I said, "What's the problem?" I want to stab somebody in here." I said, we're in here to learn. What are you talking about?" "Well, you don't know what it's like." I said, "You just got home from prison?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "So what's the problem?" He said, "Well, people are treating me differently." I said, "Well, let's go back. What did you do before you went to prison?" He said, "I was robbing, hijacking, carjacking, whatever I could do." I said, "But you came home and people worried that the same person is back." "But I'm not that person." I said, "But you haven't showed them that yet." "But you don't know what it's like, Mr. Walker." I said, "I do know what it's like." And I always keep this photo in my phone, and I pull it out, and it says, "Lion's ex-son comes home from prison, grants a new trial." And I had a life sentence. So I said, "Did you have a life sentence?" He said, "No." I said, 10 years? You were in IMAX? "No." I said, "Well, sit down. We need to talk." I didn't realize the whole class I was talking to, men and women, were all home from prison. When I finished talking to them, we were supposed to go get on the machines. They wanted to keep talking about the prison stuff. So there's a lot of outreach for this. We've got a lot of people here, a lot of people that don't know about the expungement. I was actually talking to a guy I was in prison with before I came in, and he can't get the expungement because he doesn't live in the city of Detroit. So I said, well, when I go in there and talk, I'm going to ask that we need to let every county know about this. This is a heck of a program, because now it doesn't limit you. You go in someplace and fill out an application and it says felony. Now you look at it and you turn it over and you just leave out. You don't have to do that no more. This has opened the doors for a lot of people. So I want to thank them for bringing me here, for making this happen. And Mr. Beddison, we just met. We just did a film in Detroit last year for my dad, the Dick Night Train Lane story. So he's part of that. I'll let everybody know we won the American Black Film Festival world premiere last year for it. And 2 days ago, our film just got accepted in the Las Vegas Film Festival. So thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. Now we're going to hear from Autumn Thompson.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry, I'm a little nervous, but it's okay. My name is Autumn Thompson. I recently just married on May 25th to my husband, Stephen Thompson. I just wanted to get up here and say, like, I have a layout in front of me, but I kind of got the gift of gab a little bit, but I'm gonna keep it short, sweet, and simple. Just a little bit about me. I was adopted when I was younger, I was a baby. And I'm not gonna say that we were poor in a sense, but I didn't have like luxury. Like I wasn't like introduced to luxury until I got old enough to afford it myself. And I only say that to say this. Our past should never dictate our future. No matter where you come from, no matter what it looks like, no matter what your upbringing is, it should not dictate what you go through in the future. And so I say that to say this, I'll get to my paper. I was facing 1 misdemeanor and 2 felonies. At the time, I was going through homelessness. I was working, I always kept a good job. I never not had a job. I've been working since I was 18. I always worked for Detroit Medical Center. So I'm a Detroit girl to my core. I now work for General Motors, but we'll get into that. But at the time that I was experiencing what I was going through as far as when I was convicted of my misdemeanor and felonies, I was going through homelessness, and even the job that I was working was a good job, but it wasn't making a lot of money. And so a lot of times we allow things that we go through to dictate our decision making. And with that being said, I got arrested, right? I mean, that's why we're all here. At some point, the people who are recipients of Project Clean Slate, we got arrested and we went through the court system, and then years later we're here getting our records expunged. And so then at that time, I'm looking at it like, why they gotta mess with me? Like it was always woe is me, right? And so I'm a girl of faith, and so I grew up in the church, and I'm always like, God, what's up? Like what? And don't judge me, because this is how I talk to God. I talk to him like he's my friend, because he is my friend, right? And so I'm gonna kick it with him like he kick it, like I'm gonna kick it with you. So I'm like, what's up? Like, what is you trying to show me? Like, what's up? What's tea? Like, what, is we cool? Like, let me know now so I can know how to move forward. Like, what's up? And so I couldn't hear anything from God. I'm like, okay, so you gonna get quiet on me. Like, I need you right now, you gonna get quiet? But what I didn't realize was God was slowing me down for where I was headed. Amen. Amen. I was headed into a place of destruction. And so even if that meant, hey, I'm going to pull you over. Oh, your license is suspended? Oh, yeah, we about to take your car and you going down. Oh, you want to fight too? Okay. But that was God saying, even the smallest things I would prevent you from destructing big. I could have it could have went worse than that, and I could have ended up in prison somewhere. I don't know. But God saw something for me that I didn't see for myself. And so what I would say to my younger me, stay encouraged. It's okay. Things get better. You have a beautiful daughter. My baby is 4 years old, y'all. She the only child. She over there asleep. I don't believe that. She did graduate today, but we all had a long morning. But I would say that your family is beautiful. Your husband, he loves you. Don't give up. Don't give in. Be encouraged. They that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. Amen. Thank you, Project Clean Slate.
Thank you, Autumn. That concludes the speaking part of our program. We would love it if you could stick around. We have a lot of refreshments. We have a table out in the foyer area. We'd like you to share your story with us. We are often looking for people to speak to the media. We also have a newsletter, and so if you're interested in sharing your story about Project Clean Slate or Expungement with us, we do have a table out there, but please mingle. And thank you again, everybody, for coming. We really appreciate you being here today.